Most professionals think that the hardest part of starting a business is where the money's going to come from. And you know what? They're right. And if you're still in corporate, that step can feel even harder because you're going to be sitting there thinking, what if someone from work sees me? What if I look as if I don't know what I'm doing? What if no one responds? What if nobody buys? And so if that's you, I want you to pause, take a breath, because in this video, I'm going to show you how to get your first 3 paying clients or customers without having to quit your job, without having to launch a full-blown business, and without turning your entire life upside down. So if that sounds like a plan, let's have a chat. So why these 3 clients? Because most professionals, when they're thinking about starting a business, get stuck in one of 2 places. Either they spend months just thinking about an idea and never really put anything together, or they start generating lots of different offers and never really stick to one and never really launch anything. But when you continue to move forward, 3 clients says something different. It says that somebody is willing to pay you because you know that the problem they have is real. You get to know that they value your experience, and you know that the idea that you've been working on is not just a theory anymore. 3 clients is the beginning of the proof that you need. Not that, oh, I can quit my job now and go into business. It's the proof that you can generate income outside of your salary. So let's get into this. Where do these 3 clients come from? If you've watched the previous videos, we've touched on this slightly before, because your 3 clients comes from the pool of people that you already know. They are people who are already inside your network. They're your former colleagues, they're your professional contacts, they're people that you've seen at work, and that is why your visibility, how you carry yourself, your values, your reputation is important. And when I say visibility, people might get a little bit worried and think, oh my God, does this mean I have to be all over social media and be an influencer? Absolutely not. This just means that you are now simply letting people know that you're exploring something. You're showing up slightly differently. You're sharing insights from your experience. You're talking about problems that you understand deeply. You're posting about what you're building and what you're testing. And this is why your professional voice is so important. But I hear you, because this is where a lot of professionals hesitate, because they become worried, because they know, and rightly so, that being visible on platforms can kind of place you as a target when it comes to the people that you work with, whether colleagues or even your managers. And you can have conversations that you really don't want to talk about when it comes to things that are happening outside of work. But I got your back. Visibility doesn't mean oversharing or announcing that you're going or thinking about quitting your job. It's about showing up as an authority, staking your claim as an individual outside of the organization with the experience, the knowledge, and the skills that you have. And that's why it's important to do so properly, so that you maintain and retain your good reputation and standing within your job. And for that reason, I created the Professional Voice. It's a guide that will help you in sharing your expertise in a way that's thoughtful, professional, and grounded. And most importantly, in a way that won't affect your reputation at work. So if you want your free copy, you can download in the description below. So let's get back to these clients. It's really not as complicated as you think. It's not you having to launch a huge campaign or launch at all. It literally starts with conversations. The same way that you had those conversations when you were testing, you reach out to people who were in your network, and you can say something like this, and I'm going to read this out. I'm currently testing an idea where I help professionals with X. I'm speaking to a few people to understand the challenges they're facing. Would you be open to a conversation? Do you notice what that does? It isn't pitching. You're speaking to them about learning, and where you're speaking to somebody in a way where you're treating them as an equal and trying to help with something, they're more inclined to listen. And through these conversations, you're going to start seeing what people are struggling with, what language they're using, and what support they will actually pay for. And these are the conversations that will lead to your first clients. And I repeat, these first clients do not mean, oh, now I can resign and start my business. These first clients are not about perfection. This is still part of your experimenting and testing. This is where you deliver the work, you refine it, and you improve your offer. It's where you learn what works and what doesn't. And this is where you collect your feedback and your testimonials. And that is how slowly your idea starts to take shape and it becomes something real. Building evidence about how your idea is going to work and whether or not it does work is really important if you are a professional who is thinking about leaving corporate, because what you don't want to do is quit and then try to figure it out afterwards. What you will have by doing this is the evidence that your skills can actually generate income, that people value your experience, and that there is an actual path beyond your salary. And that evidence literally starts with just a few people. Your first clients are going to be people you know, and then they will turn into referrals. And so this is the work that we're going to be doing in April. I'm going to be working with a small group of professionals to do this over 6 weeks. The focus is going to be really simple. It's going to be turning your experience into an offer where you can test it in the real world. And so by the end of those 6 weeks, you're going to have clarity on the problem that you solve, a clearly defined offer, and ideally your first paying clients. So if you're someone who has years of experience, but not quite sure how to turn that into income outside of corporate, then that's exactly the stage that we're going to be working through. And so I'll be sharing more information over the next couple of weeks about when that program is due to start. But for now, if you're watching this, I want you to answer one question. What problem do I understand deeply enough that someone else will pay for? And if you haven't watched the first few videos in this series, I'll link them below so you can go back to watch. Because once you start understanding the power that's held within your knowledge, your experience, and your skills, then your path becomes clearer. So good luck on your first 3 clients, and until the next video, bye.